Welcome to online classes. I am in the second recording. Before explanation in this recording, I will refer some sentences as a reference and continuation. The gods came down sometimes to play in the marshy vast, coming down spiders, waves which hung across the great gaps like fairy bridges, but there were no men yet, for there was no solid ground. One day, Aluran called the chief of gods, Orisha Nla, into his presence. He told him that he wanted to create firm ground and asked him to set about the task. Great God was given a snail shell in which there were some loose earth, a pigeon, and a hen of 5 toes. Now I'll start the explanation from book. He came down the marsh and threw the earth from the snail shell into a small space. Explanation 1. He descended the marsh and threw the loose soil from the snail shell into a small place. Explanation 2. He moved down the marsh and threw the loose earth from the snail shell into a small particular place. Explanation 3. He gone down the marsh and threw the loose soil from the snail shell and placed in a small particular place. Now from book. Then he put the pigeon and the hen on the earth, and they started to scratch and scatter it about. Explanation 1. Then he placed the pigeon and the hen on the earth, and they started to clench and shatter it about some areas. Explanation 2. Then he deployed the pigeon and the hen on the earth. They started to scarp and spread the soil about some places. Explanation 3. The great God sent the pigeon and the hen. They started to etch and distribute the soil in different places. Now from book. Before long, they had covered much of the marsh, and the solid ground was formed. The pigeon and the hen covered much of the marsh, and the solid ground formed within a short period. Explanation 2. The pigeon and the hen covered much of the marsh by scattering process of the loose soil and solid ground formed within a short period. Explanation 3. The pigeon and the hen was deployed in the marshland. They started scratching and scattering of the loose earth in the marshland, and the marsh covered with soil and solid ground formed within a specific time. It was not taken so long. It is the end of this recording.